Today's focus is going to be on carpal tunnel syndrome. Carpal tunnel, you can get numbness and tingling in the hands and the forearms. You can get a throbbing sensation. What else can happen is you get a real puffy and heavy feeling, maybe even some weakness in your lower part of the arm as well. So things that might affect you might come during sleep. You might start getting a lack of sleep as well because of tingling and numbness in weird positions and you can't find the right spot to sleep in. All of these sorts of things. You might lose weakness carrying your children. You might be really strained at work and your posture just starts to collapse on itself. Loads of things, snatching, training hard, loading your body a little bit more than you normally would. So we're going to go through a few tests. We're going to go through a few stretches, a nerve stretch, and we're going to go through some strengtheners, which are actually really important in this situation as well. So to test if you have some carpal tunnel-like symptoms, what we can do is we place our hand up towards the sky, we pull away and our fingers drop down. Now, if you get sensations like this and you're getting like tingling or tightness in your hand or up in your forearm, might be an indication that that line is tight. Might not mean that you have carpal tunnel syndrome, but these symptoms can be helped by just doing a small simple test like this. So this is also where our neural flossing starts. So if you can start to ease your symptoms by bringing your hand to your shoulder and looking away, so opposite to what the test is doing, then looking to your hand as you straighten the elbow, you can just give a little bit more freedom to that nerve that's being trapped by all the muscular structures that run up and down that nerve. So just doing this nice and gently for about 1 minute or so, trying to stay nice and relaxed, and then retesting. And if your symptoms ease, then it might not be as crazy as you'd think. The next one that we can try is, it's called a thoracic outlet syndrome test. It's a ruse posture. So cactus arms, elbows out at shoulder height, and you're just trying to wave your hands like you would say hi to a baby. Wave your hands like this, and if your hands start to lower over 90 seconds, then there's some indication that you've got some weakness, or if you get any pain from here, here, or here, you might have maybe something that is called thoracic outlet syndrome, which is another sort of neurovascular tightness or some sort of neurovascular dysfunction in the front of your shoulders or down the arm. So we have a little complex here where your nerves run out from your spine, down in the inside of your collarbone, down the front of the shoulder, bicep, and then they split off, go either side of the hand, and then you have one that runs this way, the ulnar nerve that runs to your pinky. So most of our symptoms we're focusing on come to these three fingers on the inside of the hand. So our main symptoms, we're going to hit a release. We're going to start at the heel of the palm. We're grabbing 2 release balls, and I'm just going to find a comfortable position and put the weight on as close to the heel of my palm as I can. So that is the carpal tunnel, where all of our symptoms are kind of getting condensed. So you have your tendons that come down through here, your nerve, your artery that are getting compressed through this little space here. So pressing down like so, or if kneeling is not available to you, standing or finding a seat on a bench where you can do that on something a little bit higher. So that's a really good one. Let's actually leave the bench here. We're going to do some forearm release as well. So we're finding the bone on the side where the pinky is, and we're just going to be on the inside of that bone, closer to the elbow. So we're finding one ball, and I'm just going to hold the ball to focus the pressure, and then I can kind of find where that spot is, and then if I really want to, just add a little bit more load. What you can do instead of using a trigger ball is you can find like a rolling pin type thing as well and do the same thing. So dowel, rolling pin, barbell, and just leaning on that spot. Again, if you're standing up, it's going to be a little bit easier on the knees. Next one we can do is same thing, but just stretching that tissue there. You can add a little bit of flex on the fingers too, and that'll add a little bit of a stretch there for you. So this is more of a pin and stretch, a little bit more gentle. Cool. So let's work up the arm a little bit more, and we'll use the trigger balls, and then we'll move into more stretching. So we're going to do 2 releases in this spot, 2 balls or 1 ball depending on how big your shoulder is. So for me, maybe just a little ball. I'm finding the tip of the shoulder blade. We've got some ropey little bits through here, and then if I move a little bit further in, you have more of like that singlet line there. So we're going to hit both those spots in the singlet line, the shoulder crease, and then that bony spot where we're finding a few ropey elements as well. So you can do this on the floor, or you can do this on your desk as well. I'm going to send my arm next to my body. I'm going to hold the ball again and place my shoulder down on that ropey part. And then just rest. This can be quite local. You might get some radiation into the hand. From here, if I pretend I'm still on the wall, you can just rotate the hand nice and slowly. Same thing in the shoulder crease, placing it down on the table or the floor. You can lie face down on the floor. If you have a nice comfy carpet, that's amazing. And then just letting that settle. Once it starts to settle, you can start to rotate the hand in and out. So you can do those for about, I would focus on breath. So for about 10 breaths, really helping the nervous system calm down. So from there, we can have a look at more stretching. So this should feel a little bit nicer now. You can always retest with this one. This one is more of a long-term kind of assessment that you can use on yourself. So if you have your desk nearby, really simple if you do spend a lot of time there. I'm going to place my hand in line, and my elbow in line with my shoulder, and then I'm just leaning down into a stretch. You can turn your head away and get a little bit more stretch on the pec as well. As that gets nice and open, you can start to elevate the hand a little bit higher. So hand and elbow higher than the shoulder now. And you're just leaning back and pressing down and just staying nice and relaxed there, helping that nervous system calm down. Cool. 10 breaths, and that should get you some good results there. So that's all some really nice stretching, but we haven't had a look at the neck yet. So some really nice ones for the neck, where we have our, right at the spine at the back there, we have all of our nerve roots. So from C5 down to T1, that's where this median nerve that affects our carpal tunnel is going to come out of. So coming out from the tops of the shoulders there, a little bit higher, we're just going to do some circles under the clavicle. As I said, that TOS, that thoracic outlet syndrome, can also give you the same or similar symptoms. So just massaging under the collarbone. And then as that starts to soften, we can add in like a little bit of a reach with the neck. To get in, if that's feeling really compressed, you can get in a little bit more by lifting the shoulder or maybe just leaning on a desk. And you'll get in that space a little bit more easily. So same thing, just circles through there with a lean on the desk to open up that space. And that should help alleviate some of that compression on the nerve up through the shoulder here. Cool, so now let's get on to some strengthening. We're gonna move the bench away. I'm gonna show you some floor exercises that are gonna help with this a little bit more. So we're just going to use gravity here, and we're just going to focus on tucking the tummy in, because we're going face down, so we want to try and keep the ribs in. Keep the head nice and soft, and we're just going to hit a Y position. This is not a Y, this is a W, a W, a Y, and an I, and no, we're not going to do that. And so we're just going to hit a W position, a T position, and then a Y position. So this Y position can be a little bit hard. As you can see, my chest juts out a little bit with that, just from tightness that I have. So if that's the case, just stick to here and here. And then I'll show you maybe even one down here if this is not available to you. So just to create a little bit of strength in my arms here and my shoulders, I'm gonna hold on to some trigger balls, going face down, starting in the W. I'm gonna elevate my tummy off the floor, compressing the ribs in towards my spine, keeping my chin in and my nose down. Trying to keep this lower body nice and soft if you can too. So I'm out in my W position. I'm just gonna lift and hold and lower. You should start to feel this in the scapula. So in through here and maybe even closer to the spine. So we're just going up like so and down. Second position, same thing. And then this guy up here, resetting every time. So you want to do those about 5 times each for a couple of rounds. And then if you're feeling really adventurous, I guess, holding up through here, keeping those ribs down, keeping that nose in, and you're just doing a bit of a wave. Oh, there's a ball that came out of nowhere. So if you're feeling really adventurous, you can bring your hands down, keep your abdominals in, keep your ribs closed in towards your spine, chin in, nose down, elevating the arms next to the body, and you're just pumping that rotation in the shoulder. You're getting your triceps to work, so just above that elbow, you should feel that burn. And then that should travel up the shoulder as well, so you should feel it at the sides and your lats almost. And trying to hit about 10 and then control yourself down. So hitting all those spots, Y and T, W, and then sweeping around and doing this lift, hover, and rotate. That should all bring you some strength in the back of your shoulder there. Really nice and simple, doesn't need to be much. You can do it up against a wall if you don't have that available for you at work. So you can just do W's here, and instead of trying to lift off, you're trying to press into the wall, trying to press into the wall, trying to press into the wall, and then naturally pressing back as well. So everything here is really nice and basic. We don't want to take it too far, and hopefully that'll help ease some of your symptoms that you're getting in your hands, bring you back some strength in your lifting and your day-to-day, and eventually bring down some of that tingling. Now, if you can't get yourself any relief in your symptoms, this is where it's probably good for you to start seeking professional care. So your physios, your osteos, your chiros even might be able to diagnose for you whether or not you have something like carpal tunnel syndrome. Massage will be what can help open up those areas and help maintain some freedom around those nerves and help better your sleep. So manual therapy can be really helpful in getting you past that stage. If those therapies don't work for you, other things will be into consideration as well. So looking at surgery is way further down the track, so you're better off having a look at your symptoms early on and tackling them before they get any worse. Cool. Hopefully that helps you out. Let us know how you go.